It's time, SK versus Space Soldiers, and Brazil has turned up! My goodness, I just spoke to the audio guy. Of the arena. He said they're using all technology available, and this is the quietest the crowd can sound. Just so everyone's aware, this is not us, this is them. Wild so far here in Belo Horizonte, and I cannot wait to see what happens when SK start hitting headshots. That's going to be wild. Either way, introductions time. I'm your host. I'll be calling myself Machine for the rest of the show, and I do have Maniac joining us as well, of course. Swiss, of course, taking over the French scene. I keep wanting to call you French, but of course, French Counter-Strike legend, and we do have Chad Sponge Birchall as well. He's Australian and he used to play Counter-Strike. It's going to be good. Spud Flanagan, I believe.
Spud Flanagan's the new alter ego.
He's calling himself tonight.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, this has been quite the start to our first. Quite a difference from yesterday, Maniac, in our quiet little green room, eating snacks, watching Counter-Strike.
Yeah, it's totally different. I mean, I feel like the energy in the crowd. And I hope
making
the
me
players
hyped.
feel the same. You know, it reminds me of my old days.
I do hope the casters are ready for this one as well, because they have the opportunity to go ahead and cast to this one, and they're going to be casting to you guys at home as well. I think we'll have the Portuguese voices in this arena, but either way, let's check in with them and see how they're feeling. They've been watching and experiencing this whole thing with us. It's going to be a wild ride today, boys.
Yeah, absolutely, Alex. This is going to be incredible. This arena, we usually call Friday the quiet days.
It's anything but right now.
Yet, and it's super loud in here.
Before the show even went live, they were blowing the roof off this place. It's going to be absolutely electric. Space Soldiers got their work cut out for them here. They're not used to a big crowd like this. They're not used to being the villains, per se. SK, not great performances so far, but all we know is it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to absolutely do our best to try and keep up with these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, Space Soldiers did actually win this series earlier in the tournament, but in front of this crowd, it's a whole different game. Alex, this is going to be pretty special, I have a feeling.
I'm just looking forward to hearing you guys, hearing the excitement, hearing that duo once again, doing what they do best and maneuvering with that crowd noise behind them. It's going to be so much fun to listen to, and I truly cannot contain my excitement. But let's start doing what we do best and what we're here for, gentlemen. Chad, Maniac, this is going to be time to start focusing on how this game is going to go down. The guys at the casting desk, Henry, saying Space Soldiers have their work cut out for them, and I would like to start with the Turkish roster first.
Yeah, look, these guys, of course, they upset earlier in the group stage, and sure, that was in a quiet hotel. Obviously, this crowd is definitely going to play a factor, but if you look at the way that they won that game, the fact of the matter is 11-4 on Case, the first map to kick off that series, we thought this was just going to be a blowout. They came back, they had a really structured T-side. SK didn't solve the puzzle early enough. They worked out late, hey, if we play aggressive, they can't do their strategies, and we can build on it from there. Then you have to look at how they played against FaZe, okay? So Space Soldiers against FaZe. They started really well. Their system, their strats, their plans, their little moves, everything was looking hot. The problem for them was it kind of fell apart at that point, and they were unable to keep their foot on the gas and keep it going. FaZe adjusted very well, very quickly, and kind of blew Space Soldiers out of the water.
Sure, but I mean, we know what these guys are capable of. This has been a very slow climb, Maniac. Like, we've seen them go through all of the qualifiers, go through all of the online seasons, climb to the Pro League, and now they find themselves stepping out to a stage in a quarterfinal or trying to get to that quarterfinal.
No, absolutely. It's been a grind for Space Soldiers. I've been really happy to watch them evolve and kind of earn their place at the big table, you know?
Yeah.
But I agree with Chad. I think in the first match, SK was a little bit too slow to adapt. And what I am afraid of for Space Soldiers now is that SK have a night's sleep. They had the possibility to watch the VOD.
Sure.
We realize what went wrong. And we know the experience of these guys. We know they are capable of finding solutions, analyzing problems. And I'm not sure that the same idea is going to work for Space Soldiers now.
Oh boy. I guess they'll be walking out soon. But I think the jitters for Space Soldiers is going to be the biggest thing. These guys are still a very new roster, right, in terms of playing in big arenas. Sure, they won DreamHack Austin, was it? You know, like, that's in front of a couple of hundred people.
Yeah, and I do want to cut you short.
That's all right.
Because word on the street is, there's a guy, you guys may know him, I think he's called Gabriel, Fallen, some refer to him as. He's standing by on the stage.
Alex, Machine Richardson, this is fun! Make some noise, Brazil! All right. Fallen, you guys have faced off against Space Soldiers before. What's going to be different this time?
I don't think there will be much difference. The only difference is we're going to win this time.
Fair enough, fair assessment. Now, last time we were in Brazil, Cloud9 lifted the trophy. Stewie2K lifted the trophy. Can you guys lift the trophy this time?
We have accomplished so many things in Counter-Strike. I have accomplished everything, all my dreams. with all the support from my Brazilian people, and there's only one thing missing, the Brazilian title in home, and I'm going to take it.
Hell yeah. All right, Fallen, why don't you speak to this crowd on your own behalf, bud?
Pessoal, hoje é um dia especial porque não é porque nós vamos jogar num palco, é porque nós vamos jogar em frente de vocês. Hoje vão ser mais de 8 mil pessoas contra 5 e nós vamos pra cima deles, dar o nosso melhor. Então, vem comigo que nós vamos destruir esses caras.
Oh my goodness, they're gonna blow the roof off this thing, Gabriel. I appreciate it. Good luck, have fun. Alex, get us in the game, man.
Oh my God! I would love to. I would absolutely love to. And he's going to be playing that crowd card throughout the entire of this tournament. We'll see if they can get past this game first. And we need to start the game. We need maps. We need that veto.
All right,
They've played before. This must make things interesting.
Yeah, if we look at the veto before, the way it went with Space Soldiers move over past SK, removing Nuke, Space Soldiers picking Cage, which has been a good map for that of SK.
So same again.
Yeah, so we've got the same bands. The picks is where I'm really interested. SK don't have an identity right now. If you're the likes, okay, so they've gone with a safe bet. They have that win streak on land. They're looking pretty hot on it. Right now, if I was SK, pick into Dust too. You guys have a fantastic team. That's what I want to see. They really need to get their own map, and SK can make that their home. They definitely need to have a new map in their pool that they can be #1 on. If they can make that Dust too, that's a scary prospect going forward.
So that was the third map decider in the previous series. They both showed willingness to play it. But you're a fan of this, Maniac.
I agree, and I'm a big fan of this Dust 2 peak. I was looking at the map, analyzing what was happening, and I thought Dust 2 would be a very good pick because of this. The third map is now Inferno, which is kind of a good map for SK. So what they do is they take away Inferno they lost the first time. They have Dust 2 as their map, and they guarantee Inferno as third. That's a great move. I'm a fan of it.
Yeah. They still get it.
You see, here's the thing. Last time 16-13 on Cation and 16-11 on Inferno, they were close matches. If SK make those little adjustments, they can run over Space Soldiers. Space Soldiers, if they use the same stuff that they were before, they were very rigid. You know, they had like the early game plan on Cation. It was don't even play anyone B. They did like this weird setup with 3 towards A, 2 towards mid, and the vent player was the rotated towards that B site. So those little themes, they're not going to work as well. You're going to be expecting them if you're SK, and you're going to be setting the pace. Here's the thing, mate. These guys are going to be so loud. I would be doing fast strategies and catching the space up. Why not, man? Just get in their face, because this is going to be insane. You're not going to be able to hear anything.
We are going to be talking more about this first map, getting our insights and our predictions. But first, I think it's time to get this show started. I don't have to tell them to make noise. I don't even have to address them. Get your popcorn out. Let's start the show.
Oh.
Senhoras e senhores, bem-vindos a ESL One Belo Horizonte.
Sem maiores delongas, vamos receber a primeira equipe competindo hoje diretamente da Turquia, Space Soldiers.
Scary experience for that. This is not playing in your living room. You are now playing against not only the 5 in the server, you're playing against the 10,000 in the arena.
Here's what you do, Alex. You don't fight that kind of energy. You just have to play off it.
Wow. Once in a lifetime experience. You are so far from the favorite, but all of the power is in your hands. I don't need to say anything. I'll let them do the talking. Hometown heroes, K Gaming.
Look at this. Have you ever seen anything like it?
That's amazing. Really is amazing.
What these players, what this organization, what this group of Brazilians have done is they showed that this nation can compete. Then they did more than that. They showed how good a team can be. Roster changes galore. It doesn't matter. Every change, they end up landing on their feet. This roster, they moved to North America. And then show what Brazil can do. Home soil, and it's absolutely wild. There is not many people who will experience something this absurd, this ridiculous, and it's all for them.
Mate, if you're not emotional right now, if you're not playing for this home crowd, if you're not going to get it done right here, right now, whoa, I'm feeling it, Alex. I'm emotional. I don't know about you boys.
Yeah, I can see tears in your eyes, Jan. This is a game of Counter-Strike. Look how far we've come.
There are people hanging off the balustrades here. Everyone is on their feet. I don't know what they're saying.
Let them sing. Ole! I've been told to send it over to the casters. It's been an absolute pleasure. But yes, SK versus Space Soldiers is about to go down. I feel like we could probably talk for a little longer while they get set up. They're not jumping straight into game, but if I get told to, I will. But I do think we should probably fill a little bit more time. I'm going against what I'm told.
You want me to get a little word in edgewise here?
Because I don't think SK are going to be jumping into this game immediately. They need to calm themselves.
This will be an emotional huddle right now, but if we want to get down to the Counter-Strike, we want to get down to the nitty-gritty, Cold Zera and Stewie towards that B-bomb site. They can't get exploited again. Time and time again, that defense was broken. The fakes were thrown out. The lack of utility, it was all exploited by that Space Soldiers roster. They're going to have to do something similar right here, right now, if they want a shot.
There is so much pressure on Fallen. What on earth could you say?
I think when you're in a situation like that, the only thing you want to do is make sure all your teammates give their best at this one moment. Everyone needs to realize that you're practicing forever, you're practicing days and days for these moments. You have to be good, you have to perform now. And a good captain is going to be able to bring everyone together when it matters. And I'm sure Fallen's able to do that.
Vamos SK.
It's not 5v5, Alex. Like I said before, it's 5 versus 10,000.
I'm very interested to see how this one plays out. But yes, the headsets are on. Space Soldiers up against the world, up against Brazil. And SK are going to do what they've done thousands upon thousands of times. But this one means so much more. This is a battle for survival for SK. This isn't the trophy at the end of this one. This is simply keeping their head above water. The Turkish superstars, Space Soldiers, actually a similar storyline to that of SK, of rather humble beginnings, but taking over and representing their region. And I do think it's time we send it over to those casters. I want to make sure we don't miss a single minute of the Counter-Strike. The fans are ready. The teams are ready. Let's hope the casters are too.
Absolutely, Alex. We are certainly ready. I couldn't be more ready, in fact. What a building this is going to be. And SK on the stage with Stewie on the lineup, and they've embraced him as much as anyone going up against Space Soldiers. Space Soldiers 2-0'd them earlier in this event. Time for redemption.
Absolutely, it is going to be absolutely crazy here. I can barely hear myself at this point. Crowd is electric. The boys are setting up on the desk over there. You can see the rabid SK fans ready to go. I can't wait for this one to begin, Matt. This is going to be something very special. Last time we were here, it was a lot of fun in Sao Paulo, but this crowd seems even more up for it than then.
Absolutely. I mean, I was told this was a sports town. Look, they had part of the World Cup here, as well as Rio, as well as Sao Paulo. The Olympics came through Brazil. I don't know that much of that went on here, obviously, but still, this was a sports town. That was, I was told straight up. Embracing esports, absolutely. They're just as much and just as passionate behind this as anything else. I mean, Fallen, after doing his interview, walked from backstage down a trench that kind of goes, you might be able to see it on camera, down kind of underneath where the crowd is, and people spotted him and were basically crawling over to try and get a high five from the guy. You don't see that. You see that in like tunnels when hockey players and basketball players. You don't see that in F1. You barely see that in football. Like, this is something else.
Yeah, this is something great, and these guys want to impress the crowd. They want to deliver that victory. They've already played Space Soldiers at this event and lost 2-0 for them. We're starting on the same map. That's going to be Cash, and SK looked very flat, very average on this one, as Space Soldiers came back from a 10-5 deficit to win the game. Their T side was fantastic. They really looked strong, is what I have to say. And I dare say it, Space Soldiers might be the favorites going into this one, but you have to understand this is going to be an intimidating environment. Got some young players on that side, inexperienced, I would say, a lot of them in their rookie year in terms of their professional careers so far. SK, no strangers to the big stage. One question mark around is, can Stewie perform? Haven't really seen him commit to those heavy, dizzy heights that we know he's capable of, but we saw in Cloud9. Still waiting for him now, his breakout event with his squad.
It's not been the best of affairs having Stewie in there, certainly. Like I said, they embrace him. The crowd certainly does. He's still a member of SK, let's not forget that, and it is still SK. But yes, it has been a bit turbulent for them, obviously communicating in another language. That is difficult in its own right, and it changes the play style. Taco leaving, Chad says it caught us all off guard. I still think there was something in the Simple and Flamey deal that kind of forced their hand. When that fell through, Taco had already been committed elsewhere. And in doing so, even in just suggesting that he was going to leave, he almost, you know, what would you do at that point? Yes, I would love to stay with the team that is the best in my nation, that has this many fans, that's won so many events, but you almost have a sense of maybe not being wanted, so you want to go elsewhere? Well, he's done very well on Liquid. There's a chance he'll make it through. We're going to get started. SK versus Space Soldiers. Any second as we get ready. Everyone, I think, pretty much ready in the server. So here we go, Henry.
Here it comes. The first map. If SK win this pistol, I'm not sure what's going to happen in the arena here. It's going to be a lot of fun. It looks like we have got a technical issue before we can get into it. I can confirm, though, SK will be starting on the T side of Cash here. Space Soldiers CT, of course. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Best of 3, live from the arena here in Belo Horizonte. We'll see who can win the first map. SK will purchase 1 Molotov, 2 flashbangs. In terms of upgraded pistols, nothing so far. We can't see Fallen hasn't purchased just yet. He's still the $800. Does he bring any more utility? Indeed he does. Then now they have to smoke the 2 flashbangs. Most teams do like to end up towards that A side. And we are off. They will be heading towards A main. 3 players there, making it 4, but look at the stack from Space Soldiers. They're ready for this. They're looking to brawl as they send 2 players to the very front here, maybe to get flashed in. There it is. But they're not going to strike just yet. Here comes Harris. The story's okay. Hill by 3. The boy wonder opens things up for SK Gaming.
He may not have had the best starts on SK, but in Brazil he will. 3 for Stewie, and Fallen closes the round. You don't need us to tell you who won that pistol.
That was amazing. You can see the aggression coming in. Stewie's ready for all 3, though. The third didn't know what was going on, and Space Soldiers get swept aside by young Stu. It will be the force buy from the Space Soldiers now. We're going to see AKs, Galils, UMPs. Oh my God, I can feel my voice is going to be wrecked at the end of this match. This is going to be a lot of fun. And we'll see Deagles, CZs now. The flashbangs will be there. Calyx with no armor. As Fur opens things up, every kill is going to mean something here. They farm the cat for Mac 10.
These are anti-eco frags. These are second round SMGs and FAMASs, and this crowd doesn't care. Everything counts. They want a 16-0 if they can get it. They want 5 kills and no deaths every round if they can get it. Spurs starts to work toward Highway. He's tagged down to 79, but they've already found Major and Engine. Calyx tagged on 56 as well. He's going to force them on the back lines. Spurs wraps around and gets on the board with his second in the round. Cold has also arrived, so Bolt's got a kill in the first round. So too did Stewie and Fallen. Everyone has contributed early on. Fur is unfortunately taking Cold down. That seems to have muted the crowd a little bit.
Yeah, that's at the window of their sails. They're still going to win the round. 4 players survive. So far, so good for SK. 2-0 comes in. They negate the force fire of Space Soldiers there. You can see the money on the screens right now. Space Soldiers will have to take the full eco at this point. That's just going to be straight up USBs, nothing else. Maybe a P250 at the very most for a couple of them. As we head into round number 3, we will see the SMG still in the hands of Coles there. He wants to farm as much money as he possibly can. Just straight up eco here. Space Soldiers, nothing really to do. Flashbang goes in towards middle. Major to try and defend. This is going to be a 5-man stack towards short, to be fair, so maybe able to trade out a couple of kills. That Grenado is going to do a ton of damage, as Fur will get 3 kills, and that's going to be the round complete. An absolute nuke drop towards short.
2 grenades, down they go. Stralis has certainly shown the nades are more viable than perhaps people bothered to learn. I think it was a fact of laziness, and as of late, they've been more formidable. It's 3-0 for SK on the D side. Space Soldiers, wake up to what is in store at this level in Brazil. They're certainly capable, but can they do it facing this crowd, facing this much pressure? There's no script that says they have a chance if you listen to the chants within the crowd. Fallen's on the AWP already. No AWP on the Space Soldiers side. They'll stick with 5 M4s. Head armor for 3, not for Calyx and Major. They are up against AKs and AWPs, so unless they go to a sidearm and an awkward exchange, it's not really that much of a deficit for them. But the bigger aspect is that in buying that head armor, they left themselves with little utility and very little to work with in terms of kits. In fact, no kits at all.
It's a massive problem you force buy, but it's early on in the game. They want to try and take the risk. Didn't work out for them, barely got a kill, so it does hamstring them going into this particular round. You can see no AWPs. There is a couple of flashbangs there, 1 smoke, 1 incendiary, and as you mentioned, no kits. Fallen showing us that flashbang from Useless, as him and Fur will make their way out. The smokes are down, they've got the mid control. CT's nowhere to be seen so far. The Major, he's pushed all the way through A main. He's getting lots of information here. It's going to be the B split, and Stewie is looking hot today. Opens things up, takes down one of the talisman of Space Soldiers. As Santara's going down, but the flashbangs are good, and Calyx aim is even better.
One Major. Sorry to cut you off. I was going to say that flank is if they got the bomb back and gone back around. If Bolts found that single kill, there was a chance they could have gotten away, but Major came up with it. Perfectly timed. And we go 3-1.
3-1, flashbangs are there. Perfect stuff from Space Soldiers. SK open things up. But Calyx shut it all down. Very strong in the B side. That's a very important round for them. Knowing that they had no utility, no kits, they couldn't let that bomb go down. They managed to hold off the B split there. Great push from Major. Got them all that information, meant they can rotate quickly towards the B side. They'll have the kits now. Still no orbs to be seen on the CT side, but Fallen will bring his out for the first real gun run here. Remember, there's no Galils now, no Mac 10s, as Major goes aggressive once more towards the same position. Fallen, lucky not to lose any HP there with all the spam coming through. And there's Stewie trying to get some damage from Squeaky, but that's a very ambitious spam.
Still no AWP on that CT side. keeping 4 players alive is big as well for Space Soldiers. They can still force in the next one. They're sitting around that 26-3K mark with 1,400 if they don't win this. Boost up for Major. Fallen and Cold, meanwhile, want mid control, and it's a very, very passive mid hold from Space Soldiers. Using that boost, they have to be wary of Highway because that leaves Major very open, so Zontaras will cover that, but Paz is playing back behind the Z connector. He's almost giving it to them, and Fur will take what he can get. Watch for Zontaras working back down in that position. Paz looking for the flash out. Engine inside of the bench goes out. Cold was waiting the whole time. Zontaras to recover. Fur's waiting. He doesn't want to go until he has to, and he's going to go at the right time. A grenade in the hands of Zontaras. He's defenseless and backing away is Paz. He wants to just stay in this. He knows they're already a man down. Don't reface when they've lost mid. Rotate and support, and Major now becomes the key factor. Watch below him as well. That door's open. He's made noise. He won't be spotted immediately, but he knows now people are working out, so he has to drop into the corner, and Stewie knew it. The whole time, Paz has arrived! Oh, what a shutdown, but Stewie's able to swing, and it's just Calyx remaining. They'll get the bomb in place just in time.
Open plant from Stewie. That should be the round in itself. Paz can do nothing about it. There's the harsh reset. And SK go up 4-1 now. In the previous round, Space Soldiers did keep 4 players alive, so it's not as devastating as it could be. You can see the money on the screen, though. Still not an ideal situation. Probably just worth a little partial buy here. Oh, they're going all in. I take it back. They're going for UMPs, CZ, Deagles, 1M4. This is a bold move to make. SK have an opportunity here to run away with the first half. Lose this one, Space Soldiers could be definite double eco territory. We'll see what happens. Coldzera currently sits on 4 frags at the top though. Stewie and Fur has gone down. Opening shot from Calyx. He's looked very good today as Major keeps pushing the envelope towards A main. So does Zontaras at boost, but Coldzera will take him down.
Yeah, smart from Cold. They'd already lost one. CTs are still limited in their purchase. We said that they would be able to force. They have, but the Deagle opening things up, he knew they weren't going to sit back on it, and Cold's able to recover. Paz has taken a substantial amount of damage as well. Everyone's holding their breath for a moment because this is about the quietest and most I've been able to hear your voice or mine, Henry.
Yeah, that is a bit of a problem. I think my voice will be gone after this map, but I'm loving the energy anyway. We'll keep going as it is now the 4 versus 4. Coldzera is on the boost. You can see the default smoke going in towards that connector. They're going for the mid area first. It's not a bomb site, of course, but it does open up a lot of opportunities to get towards A and B. Primarily B with the split through towards the checkers. You can see Bolt's maybe setting that up right now as he starts to explore towards the B storage area. Fallen and Stewie now by the vents will indeed make their way towards that side of the map. Remember, it was Calyx that was so strong in B before. This time he's in the connector. They haven't got the utility. They haven't got the weaponry. But Engine will strike. He's only good for 1, and Coldzera have a very efficient trade there.
They could have been so much worse off for that. The Molotov coming out, if he wasn't a step forward, 2 go down before Cold gets the response. So 1 for 1 is fine. They still have the weapons advantage. They're inside of the site. There's no kits again on the CT side, which is going to limit them tremendously on the way back in with that ball now ticking. Do they want to save the M4 and AK? It'll be a 2nd round loss bonus, and they're sitting, aside from Engine, all within either 3 digits or 0 in the case of Zontaras. They almost need these, but they want to go. Flash out, they had to hit that shot. Cold with the shutdown. Bolt takes Major, and Calyx is sitting duck. Cold, 4 kills.
That's the Coldzera everyone turned up to watch as he manages to find 4 big kills, and that was the force by Space Soldiers. They're done for now. The money is completely gone. 2,000 per player. They'll get 2,400 each into the next round, so they want to buy there. They're going to have to take a full eco. Engines purchase an incendiary and a smoke. What have they got in store?
Shut down one side, push the other.
We'll have to find out. That's an expensive purchase. That's $1,000 worth of kit right there.
He's going B. So is he anticipating a B push? Either way, it's toward A main. You want to talk about Cold. You think SK is off their mark? Maybe this is what they need.
Yeah.
Maybe this is what they needed to wake them back up, to make them realize how important they are to their nation, and Cold is showing that he's worthy.
They were hometown heroes last week in Portugal. They had a huge reception there. They won that tournament against Hellraisers, and now looking sharp here on home turf. There will be a couple of trades though. The CTs could cause some damage here. The full eco could fall apart for SK. Need to be very careful. It looks like Coldzera will save the situation though with the MAC-10. Got a little bit dicey, but overall, bomb's going to be planted. And it looks like Bird will take some damage in the flames. The Engine should be dealt with.
Smart read though. He didn't go to default. It was more likely the Molotov goes that position. The important kill was getting Paz when he had the gun picked up. That could have cost them dearly. just to note as well, everyone in SK jerseys, maybe there's something in it. Maybe it's just all they could find. But Stewie is in an Immortals jersey.
Yeah,
Henry.
I think his SK jersey must have got lost in the wash or something like that. I can't think
Maybe
of any
it was
other
never
reason.
shipped.
Yeah, exactly. So he just found that one, maybe in the merch store behind the stage. I'm not sure. So he picked one up. As we get into round number 8 here, SK off to an absolute flyer. No AWP again. No kits again. As Space Soldiers struggle to get anything on the board here. Still early days, you can still come back and win the half. It's technically a T-sided map by the smallest of margins. And we'll see a slow default now as SK start to take their foot off the gas somewhat. Not going super quick towards that mid area. At the very start, you can see a nice straight line formation. Watching the main choke points right now. And Space Soldiers have been aggressive as well. They've been trying to get those picks towards A main because they know they haven't got the utility, the defuse kit to actually hold off a full execution here. So going for a first frag at the very start is very intelligent. Worked out for one of the rounds, but it has fallen apart in others. But now, though, they'll have to be patient, starting to focus their attention towards A. You can see 3 players getting ready on that side of the map on the CT forces. That's Major and Paz ready to go. Zantaras with the backup. He's at the white boxes. He could be challenged by Stewie here. Smokes deployed towards middle. Flashbangs as well. Zantaras will go for a spam while blind, but Stewie's making his way out and pushing him right off that white box.
Interesting addition to the wall of smokes. Crisscross,
Yeah.
and they have the third one. They don't even want to show that they've gone advanced, but that even tells it more or not. Stewie again. Molotov's in. Finds Engine in transition. Space Soldiers, guys, great. You won 2-0 early on. This is, forget that you were even in Belo Horizonte at this point. You are certainly here now. Cold Zero in the corner will hold for. That's just a bomb plant.
Yeah,
that's just a bomb plant.
They know that the round's over. Look at the CTs. They have to save at this point. They've got no choice. They've got no presence on the site. They've got no kids. They've got no utility. The best thing they can possibly do at this point is turtle up, and Fallen's coming hunting. He can smell blood in the water as he takes down Zantaras. Can't find anything more, but it's definitely worth the hunt at this point. Leave them with nothing as Stewie goes searching as well. He'll be taken down. That should call the end to the hunt, I would say. As they lose 2 players, they might just leave these 3 remaining CTs to their own devices in the B bomb site. Goodness gracious me, SK Gaming running away with this one. Their money's absolutely fine. You can see it's more expensive than they would have liked. SK, though, at the 7-1 scoreline here in Brazil. You do love to see it. And we'll see now whether Space Soldiers take the pause. Can they afford the AWP? With residual cash, they cannot, but they can buy around this. 3-weapon save, you can get UMPs or FAMASs, maybe even one more M4. Focus on that utility and work out what's the play going to be at this stage. How do they manage to break this streak of the Brazilians? Stewie is looking impeccable. Cold Zera is hitting the shots. And those are the 2 names you want at the very top right now. It feels like Fur maybe not stepping up to that level just yet. I hope he does and joins those 2, but it's going to be a lot of fun as the game progresses.
Yeah, Fur can, but he's always been the player that's been sort of... if you go back to before Cold, for example, he was the best player on this team, hands down. He was. Fallen wasn't yet in the AWP, took it over from ZQK, if you remember. The big thing was that he was always playing off of either Taco or Phelps when he came in, and now he's got a new change. He's the one that seems to take the most time to sort of adapt to the setup of the team, whereas Cold is just on it.
Yeah.
And that's the case now. Cold already on 10 kills. We're on round number 9, the start of it, 8 completed. So AK's carried over for Calyx and Major, able to save those 2 weapons. It is now 4 rounds in a row. This would maximize the loss bonus. They saved 2. Keep in mind as we head toward the site. Fallen's not in yet, but Fur certainly is. So is Bolts. He's found by Zantaras. Paz caught the other side of the red crate. If they got 1 of 2 of those kills, they could have swung to take control, and now it comes to Fallen at range, and he's found Zantaras as well. Cold! Oh my goodness! Engine turns around to shut him down, and that as well. Every single kill Space Soldiers has gotten has been crucial. Paz in the site, shutting down Fur, cutting off Fallen late is about all they had to do because they covered both sides of the red crate, and it's now a 2nd round. Space Soldiers with good numbers alive. 3 players staying up.
3 players survived. Solid stuff from Paz. He has been the shining beacon so far for Space Soldiers. 8 frags to his name at the very top there. When he gets an opportunity, you can see how good he can be with that rifle. Crossfire was good then. SK with another fast-paced round, trying to open up that A-bomb site as quickly as they possibly could. They had decent control there. Cold Zera, you assumed he was going to find that frag towards shore, but the swing around, the 180, somehow he went down there. And we go 7-2 as SK take a timeout as well. Fallen compared to the AWP here. You can see the money definitely whittled down to this point. 3 AKs and a Bolts CZ will be purchased here, so he's going to focus a little bit more on the smoke, the flashbang. Maybe a set piece comes through at this point. And we're going into round number 10. It's been a very fast-paced game so far. We'll see if Space Soldiers can find consecutive rounds here. That has to be the aim of the game. The rounds they're winning, they're keeping numbers up. Sometimes they're still not enough when you've got to rebuy the kits, the utility. You can see they're still hovering around $1,000 per player. Engine even less than that. And what's the setup from SK right now? Fallen going for the B pick with the AWP. They'll be looking for any players dropping down, crossing towards checkers. No one there though. It's a very passive stance at the moment. As far plus pass out of the smoke, it's the grenade spam combo. And that's going to be very, very effective.
Space Soldiers have got to be kicking themselves. They go aggressive, then shut down. Okay, I say that, but it's on Torres. We know he's world class, gets 2 kills. He's not got much to work with inside of the site. He's left alone, 78 HP, mind you, so he can still fight, but he's going to be forced down by a Molotov. Has to play the backside. Second one covers out default. He's got to run, and in running, he's tagged down to 28. He wants to convince them he's still there, so he actually extinguishes it late. Doesn't go far enough, but it is just Fallen left to find. He'll clip 1 in a 1 versus 3. Pick up the bomb on his way by, and it doesn't have to commit at this point. There's a minute left. Little does he know, they're actually working in the same direction. He thinks he's being somewhat clever, but he is considering this possibility. I mean, so much as to say that they're wrapping back in middle. Is he going to be ready for a boost? Oh! Yes, he is!
That gives him so much intel that he knows exactly where the other player is at this point, and he's not going to wait to plant. He's seen him in the connector, did he not?
He had to have, surely, unless he was focusing on the jump and his periphery didn't recognize. Either way, he puts the bomb down. That negates the fact that it comes to a duel. He's opened the door as to make noise, fake that he's gone away, and he's gone off the AWP as well. He's going to push up with the AK in hand. It was a 1 versus 3, and Calyx is gone!
And there he is, the godfather of Brazilian Counter-Strike, 1 versus 3. He can see the intelligence, the thought process as he goes along, and the stunning shots to go with it. AWP swaps out for the AK, and Calyx has got no idea where he is. As soon as he spots that boosted player, it's game over. He knows where the other CT is, and he's just going to toy with you. And Space Soldiers have been reset once again. SK are firing on all cylinders. It's brilliant to see. We haven't seen them looking this good in quite a while. Hopefully they can keep up this momentum as Space Soldiers are going to have to dig real deep at this point. Only Pads really is impressive so far. Zantara's had a couple of good shots in the previous round, but we need to see a lot more out of them. They can't be losing 1 versus 3 situations.
Absolutely not. Their trades on the A side have actually been quite effective. So Zantara's did very well to stay alive so long in that position. And he was clever. He tried to smoke off Quad, suggested he was still there. Calyx comes up to support. The A side of the map looks great. The problem is they just start closing it. And Fallen just rips them apart, and here we go. Back to pistols, straightforward procedure. Fur just walks out around the white box. Flash came in a little bit earlier, but it didn't even matter. Gets the headshot, gets the kill. We find themselves in a 5 versus 4 already. Pistols, Engine, Calyx, Major, all toward the B site.
So, a chance to breathe here. It should be a very easy procedure at this point for SK. You can see the remaining 4 players are Space Soldiers residing in the B bomb site right now, hoping they can run into a Fallen AWP. That would be ideal right now if they catch them in T-spawn, but nowhere to be seen. SK are fully in control of the A side at this point. They'll plant momentarily, and that will be the round. So it's a nice chance for even the Space Soldiers to discuss what they can do into the next one. In terms of loss bonus, Matt, they're at the second stage of the next round. They've got about $2,000 per player with the exception of Major. He will have enough to buy an AWP. They have not had a single AWP on the CT side so far. And Spur, he'll be using the AWP at this point. He's in a lot of trouble, though. This is where they could steal that away. coldzera knows he needs to get it back, but Stewie might beat him to the punch. But this is getting a little bit expensive now. Calyx remains, but only with the P250. 2 players go down, but they stop the AWP being taken into the next round for free.
I think Stewie expected the AWP was going to be in the second player against the wall, so he went to the knife to try and bait out the shot.
Yeah.
He didn't read that there was actually 3 players there, so got caught off by a pole pushing as well. They capitalize before they can set up that AWP. Just look to our left, and we've got Mouse Sports, Liquid, all sitting there watching this, and Taco is the most calm, but also looking the most eager, I think, to get on this stage.
Big after this one, and you know Taco's going to get a wild reception as well. At least he's a bit of a Brazilian fan in terms of the fan base he has here. He speaks Portuguese, he's popular on Fallen stream, so I'm sure they're going to love Liquid when they come on as well. So that's going to be even well, maybe not as lit as this, but it's still going to be as fun, I think. So we'll see what happens there. As we enter round number 12, you can see the AWP. Like I said, for the first time, Space Soldiers do mix the AWPing roll up. It's not necessarily always major. Paz can AWP as well. You see Engine with occasionally as Stewie tries to get his first pick. He's dueling at Xantares. That's quite a tantalizing duel. AK versus M4, but it's the fallen AWP. Stewie baits him in. The AWP swings out. They get the opening kill once again. And Stewie has been so good these spans throughout this tournament. Found multiple kills last time they played Space Soldiers. Let's see if he can do any more damage here.
Keep in mind as well, SK had a fantastic start on this map last time they played. You mentioned it. Stewie in that position, 2 kills, I think, in 1 round. Paz, Calyx both went down, if I'm not mistaken, through the door. Engine has pushed up to B tunnels. He's got a gun all the way through to Sunroom. Do they recognize that possibility? Because the AK covered in could catch them off if they rotate back, and Major's also at the lockers. But Fallen is reading everything.
He's just absorbing the arena right now. This is the best looking Fallen we've seen in months. He's hitting every single shot. The decision making's on point. He's aware of the possible risks. And now it's Calyx. He's been good so far. He brings it into the 2 versus 2. Engine's coming for the flank from A main as well. It's actually looking quite promising for Space Soldiers. Bomb will go down. Coldzera's exposed. And Engine's got a chance to find the first kill. Not quite connected though.
Not as of yet. Calyx still toward the E-box, wants to elevate himself. Fallen couldn't guess correctly. Had to go to his bat senses, echolocation, to try and find out where he was on the other side of the smoke. He's still playing off of this, 10 seconds to go, baiting them in with every single shot. And the bomb continues to tick, and they continue to get much, much closer as Engine had the angle. Not much he could do in that situation. He was a caged rat. And we go to 9-3.
Defuse will come in. I assume he'll be comfortable. No kid there, got a little bit dicey. You can see the bar on the top. It was absolutely fine in the end. The 2 players survived. If Fallen had 100 HP, maybe he could have gone for some more audacious picks there. But overall, there we have it. Round 13, 9-3. Space Soldiers have not posted consecutive rounds as of yet. We'll see what they're capable of. They'll still have the AWP on Major. The 2 versus 1 against Fallen is successful, and they'll take an SK timeout. I think both teams will be happy to use it at this point. Looking at the money for SK, you can see finally they've been broken down. The first eco for them so far. They're going to have 1 AK on Coldzera. The rest of them just with Deagles. I don't think they're forcing into this one.
It was a, if I remember correctly, slow start from SK in the first map, turned around, and then still Space Soldiers pulled it off. A fast start in the second one, which came to a mid-game lull, and Space Soldiers stole it away. They'll know that they can come back from deficits is the point. They've seen this before against SK in this tournament, so we can talk about this crowd, we can talk about different circumstances, and SK does look better, and they've got that going for them, but don't discount Space Soldiers yet. That's all I have to say, because they know they can pull this off. And speaking of that, I mean, it's the players you want to see getting the kills. Xantares may only have 6, he's getting impact frags. Paz and Calyx are leading the way, but they're playing very well off of each other. I have to say, Paz playing mid, sort of a passive approach has worked out very well. Engine pushed up. First time we're going to see SK broken down. What is the response? Cold on an AK.
This is what we call that tactical purchase. A player like Coldzera who's feeling it, he's given the responsibility to find these frags. He doesn't want to fire off the AK. He wants his teammates to maybe bait out these CTs by firing off their pistols. He doesn't want to spam the AK. He doesn't want to go for any wall bangs here. He wants to wait till there's an opportunity to find multiple targets and take them down. He'll be looking towards events. He has got presence there, spots the foot of Engine. I'm not sure Engine was aware he's been spotted, but now for watching it like a hawk as well. If Engine steps out of line one more time, you know he's going to be taken down. For now, though, he holds patiently. Speaks out, and he's lucky to be alive here. Coldzera and Fur looking at him. No damage inflicted almost. So, for now, SK still trying to find that first pick, and Coldzera is going to investigate towards short.
Good shot from Major on the AWP. Does mean the AK gone from Cold, but picked back up by Fur. They had the position to take advantage of it. Xantares wants them getting toward the vents. He wants to take the battle, take the exchange, but they're not going to give him much to fire at. In fact, they're hoping that he'll step out too far, and Fur goes hunting instead. Good pick. Smoke at the top of Highway. They can actually get a second gun out of this, so that's picked up and now going to be held by Bolts. It's already tagged. He comes out from A main. Stewie's trying to take the aggro. Major hits a very important shot. That leaves Paz room to work with, but Major has to be careful on that AWP. They're still giving up the A side. Ball plant needs to be the goal right now. Just get it down. Oh my goodness, they barely do. 4 seconds. It started at 5. They'll get it in position. This actually gives them a chance. They've got armor for Fur and an AK. Fallen all 5 HP. He's pushed out to the open, but good response. We said Fur had to step up. 38 HP, but Calyx is going to find him before he can set and ready. He wanted to stay aggressive. He wanted to catch them off.
He had to be on the ace to pull that one off, but all things considered, that was not a force fight from SK. They get 3 kills, they get a bomb planted, money's going to be fine going to that next round. 9-4 though, now it's becoming a competitive game. We know Space Soldiers are good at bringing back games on cash. Remember, they were 10-5 down last time at SK Gaming in this very tournament and pulled it back tremendously well on their terrorist half. It's literally the same game almost so far. As we get into round number 14, we'll see whether they can bounce back here. Single orb setup, only for Major, not for Fallen. We'll see whether Engine's presence towards middle this time will push SK back, but they're focusing towards A. You can see them looking into the walls, dodging any potential flashbangs that can be thrown in. But this is a very defensive stance now from Space Soldiers. They're not going to be trying to find those first picks. Major right back in the CT truck. And Paz, he'll be towards Highway. Zontares is there backing them up. And in terms of the Major AWP, that is indeed right back there. But he'll be smoked out, very vulnerable to those particular bits of utility. So he might have to reposition at this point.
They'll gather the bomb back toward middle. Fur puts Cold up. He'll be patient. Space Soldiers can find 6 rounds, it would be incredible. If they find 5, still in it. 4, something to work with, but it's going to be a harder task. So pressure on. Stewie's trying it again. I don't think they'll be so susceptible to it this game. They're going to know that that hurt them quite a bit last time. So far, he hasn't had the same luck, same fortune, or perhaps same miscalculation of positioning for Paz, as it seemed to be more often than not. Zontares forced out from behind the forklift. That will change their complexion in the A. Sight, good find from Fur. What an entrance. Engine is well caught out in middle. That's Cold Zero once more. Zontares has got the bomb down into the lineup. Stewie goes as well. That turns everything around because it looked like it was going to be comfortable to contain the CTs and get the bomb plant. But Bolts puts things back in order. Watch out, Cold. He's got players, oh my goodness, behind him. But he's first fixed on Major instead. It's all on the Calyx. This certainly has to go 10 rounds, you'd expect now.
3 versus 1, Calyx. If he can pull this one off, it'd be absolutely monumental. He'll Molotov towards the quad area. No one there, but if they play this correctly, it should be impossible. Cold Zero finds AWP, plucks him out of A main. Double digits achieved, and that could be 11 rounds because it looks like Space Soldiers will have nothing here. They've got 2,000 per player. The absolute tippity top is $3,400. That's for Major. And this was great for Zontares, but still, excuse me, not quite enough. We'll have a look at the overall complexion of the buy. 1 rifle, that's the FAMAS, giving it to their star player, Zontares. He is capable of unspeakable things, and we'll see if he can pull anything off. And round number 15 here, but Fallen knows they've got no AWP here. They don't even have a smoke for middle. They've got no presence there. They can just help themselves to that part of the map and start to dissect piece by piece and start pulling them apart one by one. We'll see whether this works out for Fur. He'll be looking towards Highway first. Doesn't connect the headshot straight away.
Stewie, just barely gets away. Barely finds position back inside of middle. Engine, good find on the CZ. Fur, though, has gone up through Z. Oh my, he's got to be careful. Turns it around. Just barely in time to find Paz as Engine's gone down to Fallen. This is the last round of the half, remember. So it's all in from Space Soldiers, but it might be all gone as Cold takes down Calyx. It's Major and Zontares left, and they are well and truly spread across the map. 1 in T-spawn, 1 towards CT as they try and pincer and figure out exactly what's going on the B site.
Bomb down. Final round, no saving here. No kits, 1 flashbang. SK look poised to take this one. Look at the positioning. SK are going to find the 11th round. That's going to be it. Zontares is decent, but these are just padding stats at this point. Can't really do much of this at all, I'm afraid. That's going to be it. They'll see if there's any sort of kills available. Rotates around, hoping for mistakes made here by the Brazilians, but they've been pretty spot on throughout this entire half. 11 rounds comes in, but remember, they played cash in that last best of 3. It was 10-5 on the T side of SK Gaming, and they still lost when they swapped over. They've gone one better this time, but Space Soldiers very proficient on the T side of cash. This isn't over by any stretch.
So pressure on the pistol for Space Soldiers. It's far from over, but we are just getting started. SK back on home soil, and we know what that means. You saw Bolts trying to get through that crowd. Trust me, they had escorts trying to push fans out of the way. They were so emphatic about getting a high five, just a high five even from their heroes. Zantares was solid. I have to say their A looked formidable, but Fallen, a 1 versus 3 that was very well read, and most of the rounds and clutches seeming to go the SK way.
You're absolutely right. There were some good rounds though. Paz showed us that he is in fighting form. Zantares had some special moments, and it looks like we're getting into the pistol already. They're not going to take the full 2 minutes they're allocated. They want to get right back into the action. It's been a proper brawl of a game so far. You mentioned it, Space Soldiers need this pistol. We'll have a look at it so far. And Fur, he's just dismantling them before they even get a chance to get set up. Takes down one of the big names there. They'll come out the door, but Bolts can't stop them. Can Fur do anything from this angle?
Stewie knows he has to go aggressive. Good find from Fur. He got one more. Stewie had to try and hold the door off. Otherwise, Fur was gone, lost to enemy territory, as they would have surrounded him from both approaches. Still doesn't quite go their way in the fact that that happens because they lost 2 players at Forklift as well as him, so it sits in a 2 versus 2. Cold in the open has to fight valiantly. As Fallen wants to try and help, he'll get taken down, and they know where Cold went, but can they take him on? Can you really challenge Cold in this form? Great headshot to start it off. He's got Calyx on 39 as well, but oh my goodness, Calyx! The shot in return.
You saw the frustration on Cold Zero's face there. There was no doubt in his mind he was winning that round. That first shot he gets in the 2 versus 1, it felt like it was a done deal. Fur opened things up, but he couldn't close them down. Great opening kill, but the pressure coming in from the squeaky door there too much. Bolts couldn't hold them off. Stewie missing the shots. And that's exactly what Space Soldiers need here. I disagree with this buy from SK. They shouldn't be forcing it. They did not learn their lesson in the last best of 3 against this very team. Their money was an absolute nightmare on their CT side on cash before. They're force buying again. If they can bring it back short, it's fantastic. But it's likely they lose this round, and it means the same situation Space Soldiers had. They'll have no money for that first gun round. They'll have no AWP. No one saved any cash here, Matt. So Fallen almost certainly went up the AWP. That's if they don't win the round, which is also a possibility. I'm just saying, it's Space Soldiers probably going to get this one.
You covered all your bases, Hank.
I think I did a good job there.
I'll pat myself on the back.
Yeah.
No one else. Fur and Bolts together. Smoke's down in front of them, but no one approaching as of yet. Counter smoke at A main isn't really worth the risk when you've got the weapons in your advantage. So keep those MAC-10s in mind, though. They can be explosive, and they should. You'd expect to lead. UMP's capable of similar. And Jun and Paz both going to be exploding from left side, stage left. Are they? One from the door and one from the garage, but having already crossed over, it's a different angle they'll have to be cautious of. As Cold with a deagle for back out, couldn't quite catch Major. Never discount that proposition.
30 seconds here. They are taking the bomb towards A, so this is all a bit of a ruse towards that B side, showing a little bit of presence, but the CTs have not taken the bait whatsoever. You can see Bolts, Fur, ready and waiting, a little formation there on the A side. CZ keeping it close range. They're not going to challenge. Oh my goodness, Bolts gets one. Is there anything more to be found? Apparently not. Space Soldier's looking comfortable now. The last line of defense has to be Stewie, but he can't get it to P250. Bomb will be planted with time to spare, and Cold Zera left in an impossible 3 versus 1 now.
1 for 1s was all they needed. They couldn't get the second one behind the forklift, and it's Cold Zera, as you say, left alone. If you can get exit kills, maybe get a gun. The AK is the only rifle.
There's no reason for them to exit in a solo formation, though, right? So even if he gets one, he's not getting out alive. I can guarantee that. So Space Soldiers will just hold up, make sure the bomb is going to go off here. They know where he is, don't even need to challenge. You've got a deagle only. Let him keep it. It's not worth us losing, 4K's worth of kit with the AK, the armor, the 1 smoke. Just let him save that deagle. That's fine. We'll be aware of it for the next round.
And armor as well.
Yeah. The problem is now, that's the nightmare scenario for SK. When you have these sort of leads, in my opinion, I don't even think it's a choice anymore. I feel like you have to. With a lead like that, you just have to take the eagle in the second round. Get some deagles. Take no armor, take no utility. If you get a 1-deag someone on cash, it's going to be a straight-up 1-deag, and then you'll find the weapon. You can snowball from there. When you invest all your cash, I feel like it's just opening Pandora's box. You have no idea what's going to happen in that first gun round. If you get shut down there because they do a full execution, you've got no kits, you've got no incendiaries to hold them off, it really can be the beginning of the end. And we'll see the full eco now. SK can't really afford to buy anything here. As every single player went all in, they'll have to just go with USPs. And this is the side of the campaign for Space Soldiers. They are very, very good on the T side of cash.
Major starts to work around with the UMP. Good find under Cold as he transitioned back. It is still a stack, but Major's doing an excellent job himself. Sergeant Major Stewie's going to put one back, though. Zantares responds. It's all taken care of. We'll go to 11-7. I don't really need to read much into that or really predict otherwise. It seems rather obvious. But that's when the guns come out, and that's when we finally get SK started on their CT side. If the first gun goes against them, then there's a bit of worry that we'll start to seek in. And I imagine the crowd will get a little bit more tense for a moment or two.
I think you might be right. They're starting to get riled up now, though. So like we said, no orb available. No helmets on 4 of them. Luckily, finding a few frags. There's no SMGs on the T side, so at least that won't be a factor. Not a single kit and no incendiaries. If Space Soldiers are ever going to back into it, this is the round to really make your mark. But I thought he was running in towards those nades there. That was dangerous. Luckily, he decides to fall back, and that was a very wise thing to do. A execution looking likely from what I can see so far. I can see no presence towards middle or B in the minimap, and this is very common. If you know the force ball in the second, you want to be doing executions. You want to shut them down with strategy and utility instead of firepower here. Don't give them an opportunity to even find headshots. Take down those crossfires. You can see, flush them out. Anything they've got, bleed it out from their pockets.
Oh, bolts. Couldn't even spot the tracer. They're so close together to a wall, remember. Don't be misled by that smoke. He was waiting for it. It was tantalizing, but he couldn't capitalize it. It is Space Soldiers with a 2-man lead, but here comes Bolts. He's been patient. He's tagged to 38. He's got to be careful, and Paz knew exactly where he was, but here's Fallen to respond. Stewie gets one as well. 1 versus 2. He's got a chance.
So he'll have to rotate through. Once the bomb's planted, though, that makes things very problematic. Every second counts. He can't really afford to walk in here. He hasn't got that kit. He's going towards Squeaky Door. He's still got to find 2 kills here, Matt. And this is looking so unlikely for him, but of course he's going to go for it. He's got a smoke and an HE. He needs to find an instant kill here as soon as the door is swung open. Luckily, that's already been done for him. Can he find the first kill? My God, he might have a chance with this one. Trying to bait other shots now. It's Engine on the other side. And he'll try to go around. I don't think he has time even for the defuse at this point, Matt. So this is just a consolation frag. Nothing he could do. And that's the nightmare scenario for SK now. They were looking so good, but the win's going to be taken out of their cells at this point. A chance for Space Soldiers to get double digits almost as the eco has to come through. It can be a partial bite with the maximum loss bonus encroaching, but great shot from Sui. If he had the kit, maybe he had a chance to go for that.
So 11-8. Alex stays on the MAC-10 there for the economy, and he naturally knows that he can therefore try and run and gun. Space Soldiers are in this, no question. Again, I said that they wouldn't be deterred by a deficit. The crowd might be something to play against, but hey, maybe they're the type that revel in adversity.
You hope so. For now, though, should be quite the easy procedure for Space Soldiers. They'll just be holding up, waiting out the SK side, making sure there's no funny business going on. Cash was picked by Space Soldiers. Matt, we go on to Dust 2 next. SK versus Space Soldiers on Dust 2 is going to be a lot of fun. From what we saw on the T side of SK, they're here ready to fight, but falling over a few hurdles on their CT side. But this round's still possible. This is the sort of bar I was looking for in the second round. You get some upgraded pistols, maybe a flashbang or 2, leave the armor off, because players like Fallen, they don't need to take damage. They'll be finding headshots. They'll be out-positioning their opponents, and Major gets dropped by the scout.
He wants that AK, but he does not want to go forward to get it because he does not know what waits in useless. He's got some vision toward it, but Engine's going to wrap around the other way. If Fallen wants it, he's got to go now. Because he's there, and he's ready to guard it. Meanwhile, bit of activity toward the door on A. That'll be opened by Paz, and Burr sitting in directly in front of him, gets his head blown off. Paz is looking very sharp as he finds a third on the bolts. The entrance is authoritative in his accounts as Calyx now holds off behind the forklift. He's got to swing back out as Stewie gets closer on that Deagle. Deagles haven't given us as much as we might expect in this game. For Red One early on with that weapon, but so far it's in this round all, aside from a scout shot, all Paz. 4 kills. Fallen's well removed. He wants that AK. He's going to go back for it. That's all he's after at this point in time, and unfortunately Engine babysat it, knowing that situation was likely to occur.
Well, I think we're going to see all 30 rounds here. This will be the first proper gun round. That sounds a bit strange to say, but finally they're going to have diffuse kits. They're going to have a Fallen AWP. They really put themselves in a compromised position But I think we've talked about that enough. Let's focus on this future here. We'll have a look at their overall setup. They've gone for double orbs, in fact. It will be Cold, Zera, and Fallen. One of the most iconic double orbs in the game of CSGO. They still don't have a single kit. That is a problem. And we'll see if they can shut down the terrorists here. Bit of spam at the beginning. Engine taking a head chop through the grates. It's Antaro's shoulder peek towards A main. Lucky to be alive. You can see who was waiting on the other side. It's Fallen, who's looking sharp with that orb. Waiting an MBK to get the first shot here. He goes to a more aggressive angle. Gets the shot, but doesn't get the kill. He keeps going though. Flashbang's coming in. Needs to be very careful here, but he stays calm.
Fallen working back in on the op. So close behind the smoke. He's going to sneak out. Alex had no idea. And they know the door is always a possibility when you fall back from A main. They get across it. Bolts never saw it open. Paz does fire into it. And Fallen actually hit him through the door and the wall with the AWP and puts him on 45.
It's not bad, is it? Fallen not taking any prisoners this particular round. 45 seconds remaining, 5 versus 4. Pretty much the only advantage SK have had in the second half. They're 5-0 down right now. 11-9 overall. The first map of our best of 3. We'll see if they can continue. As Bolts is ready and waiting. Nades being deployed right now. Molotov's in, Bolts hides in the smoke. It's Fallen to patrol towards highway.
Work out with that AWP. Bolts swings forward, gets inside of the smoke. Fallen, though, does get taken down by Major, who got both of them, in fact. Bolts just before. 12 HP, 14 seconds. Antares gets the bomb down, and they try and approach from either side. Molotov's a little bit late. SK need this round. It's been 5 in a row for SK to start, or excuse me, for SS. To start off the second half, but Stewie's got other ideas. And it's 12-9.
Great shot by Stewie. Antares always going to be dangerous in those particular scenarios, regardless of the HP. That guy's got an AK and wants that potential. You see Major doing a fantastic job there, sneaking behind enemy lines from highway. Does find 2 great kills before Cold Zera took him down. And this game is officially on, 12-9. Money available for Space Soldiers, but not so much for SK. The reinvestment of all the utility now will cost them pretty much everything. The reset potential match off the scales here. If SK lose this round, it's going to tie things up. It'll be 12-10. Double eco on the CT side. That's going to be 12-12 for sure. If SK can win this, on the other hand, they won't break them down fully, but they'll put Space Soldiers in a very difficult situation. We'll see if this double orb setup can work once again. Looks like an execution being set up here by Space Soldiers. A lot of presence on this side of the map. 3 players going towards A main, waiting for Fallen to push again.
Fallen trying to get aggressive on that door. Opens it inwardly and knows there's one there, but he's going to back away. How would not do that damage, I was going to say.
Yeah.
He's on 88, even through 2 walls, 4 or 5. I don't know that it would do that much. Or that little, I should say.
Yeah, that was Mage on the other side, and Fallen can't find Paz still towards that squeaky door, but that is the cue to go. The missed all shot is going to give them access towards the side, but Bolts, he finds the first kill.
Stewie is tenuously waiting behind the fork. He didn't see the second player, but it doesn't even matter. He swings back out. Calyx, the only one alive, and Fallen. The godfather of Brazilian Counter-Strike puts the final kid to bed. We go 13-9 for SK, and we're going to get another timeout called.
Like we said, if SK can win this round, not only to stabilize their own finances, it will start to shut down Space Soldiers. They went for a very basic approach towards the A side. Very basic default at the start, waited about 20 seconds for that aggression to come through. And as soon as the orb shot was missed, get that smoke down, flash through, and try and push towards Fallen, stifle him, choke him out of the A side. But Stewie was there to back him up. Great positioning, even better aim. He couldn't get the final kill, but the damage was done. That round was in the bag. And they'll stick on the double orb setup, and the fans are on their feet. They can feel the victory in this first map coming in. Round number 23. We did say there was one more buy for Space Soldiers here. Are there any compromises? Are there any pistols coming out? It looks like they got 4 AKs so far. Calyx will have to take the Desert Eagle as we get further and further. SK now surely going to be picking up cash. They got battered in the second half the first time they met Space Soldiers here in this tournament. Fallen aggressive again, knowing there's probably no AWPer on this side of the map. Drops the incendiary and starts to investigate.
Fallen aggressive. Good God. Double up setup, and he's all the way up toward A main early on. And he's waiting. Major's got no idea. Easy shot, and he has to be cautious of the fact that they're going to push him. Oh my God, I thought he was going to get away with one. I'm surprised he went for the smoke that quickly and didn't ready himself for further exchange, knowing that they're pretty much directly on the other side of that wall, but still, he really got away with it. His engine goes 1 for 1. He's inside of A main alone, though. That smoke still isolates him. He's going to have to be very careful if they push through and they're going to flash in. Engine reveals himself, but they won't commit to it. Bolt backs off.
4 versus 4. Fallen gets that first kill towards the boost, but couldn't quite get the second. Damage has been done towards Engine. 45 seconds remain. This is must-win for Space Soldiers. They haven't got the lost bonus to fall back onto. Only the second stage. Lose this, they're on an eco. We'll see whether the open A bomb site will come back to haunt Csgo here. You can see no presence at all. There's only one player, and that's Bolt as a highway. Fur has hung him out to dry. He's in the vent. Stewie will rotate in, but it's going to be a long rotation. But maybe this guy doesn't need it. Through the smoke, cleanly finds Pad, and damage inflicted in bucket loads of the grenades.
Stewie just nailed Engine as well. He didn't fire, the final bullet. But spraying into the smoke, he doesn't even know it. He's taken Engine to 3, and oh my goodness, Fur sneaking in behind them. First one down, they know he's there, but it's yet 3 HP. Easy to clean up, and Fur! He'll welcome Space Soldiers to Brazil, but he says, get the hell out of my server, as he flanks in behind, 14-9.
4 players survive, Matt. Space Soldiers get the bomb down. They had to make that happen at least. It will give them enough for Galil's, maybe a couple of AKs here. I'll read out the overall cash as we get into the next round. 4K on 2 players, 3 of them have 3,500, so there is enough at least for 2 AKs. Could go for even more than that, they'll have no grenades. Round 24 coming in. Csgo in cruise control right now. As soon as they bring out that double orb setup, it's looked so much better for them. Space Soldiers will take the tactical timeout.
They have to.
Yeah, they really do. They haven't purchased anything just yet, but I can confirm Zontares has purchased the AK at least. Major with a MAC-10 and all the utility. They are going to be forcing fully into this. It makes sense. They can't really allow it to go Csgo to go 15-9. It's just too much of a deficit to recover from. Their final buy comes in. They've spent pretty much everything they've got. Everyone's saving maybe $500. AKs, 2 MAC-10s, 1 UMP, and a deagle for Calyx. It really is a jumbo cell purchase. I'm not sure it's going to be enough, and Csgo should be able to get map points here. B execution coming in. Expect to see Molotovs all over the bomb site. Smokes towards Heaven, CT spawn. Now Molotov towards Checkers as well to try and flush it out. It's the last chance to Space Soldiers here. If this round doesn't work out for them, they're absolutely done for. These Molotovs have to be spot on and combine them with the flashbangs. That's the combo you need. Flashbangs in, Molotovs on the site, and hopefully burn the CTs alive. Here they go.
Yeah, Zontares will set it up first. Engine and Paz going to try and go with speed. They don't even want to let them bloom. They want to be in the door as they're relocating, but relocating to where? Doesn't even matter for Stewie. He's got all the opening he wants. Zontares does finally burn cold and finds bolts. So hang on. We're not done yet, and they're going to boost back up as well because they know the rotation's coming over. But boost and Fallen, he's sitting and waiting. Stewie confirms that they were looking that direction, but that kill should take them back to B. That's the call I would make at that point because you know you've got one less player defensively inside of that site.
Fur is in a good position though. This could be everything. If he can get 2 kills or set Fallen up, it's unlikely he gets all 3. Let's see what he's made of here. I'm not sure they're going to be aware of it, but what am I talking about? Zontares, perfect as ever, takes him down, and that should be the round here. A lifeline after losing the first 2 fracks to Stewie 2K.
Fallen doesn't even consider going to the vent as of yet. Money on the SK side is reasonable enough that they'll buy in the next round, but in giving away an AWP, all it really serves to do is weaken the sort of an economy that's built up, that's got a few buys left in it, and give more rounds potentially to Space Soldiers than they need to. So it's not really worth giving away the AWP, and although it was a forced buy, it's not building up much for Space Soldiers, even keeping 3 alive. And a reset still is a possibility, and Fallen knows that, wants to break them down when they get to map point and put this baby to bed.
Well, there it is. Space Soldiers not out of this just yet. It's the B execution that works out. We saw all the flames.
He's waiting for the jump.
Yeah. Major just trying to stay alive on the precipice of the blast there. Somehow goes down with just 4 HP. He will survive into the next round. 14-10, ladies and gentlemen. The T side still alive for the Turkish boys, Space Soldiers. It's Stewie dancing through the flames. Not the prettiest of kills, but he did find the headshots, and he got the first 2 frags with the Molotovs. The heat on the bomb side was just too much. There is still enough money for the double orb setup. If Space Soldiers can win this, they're right back into it, and then some. As they'll go towards A, looks like a fast approach, but look who's there. Fallen on 12 HP, takes 2 nades to the face. He has to drop the incendiary and negates 5 terrorists on the other side to try and fall back here. This is not an ideal position whatsoever. It's looking very worrying for him.
They've gotten Fur and Stewie in rotation. As a result of that, they know he's going to need some help, so they'll get it. Medic will be Fur. Bolts stays at sandbags in middle. It's also an interesting position. You don't see it often. For good reason. Easy to Molotov it out. You can't really escape from it without smokes down. It's a battle position. It's a trade position. And that's why Stewie now sits behind the smoke at Z. So 1 to aggro, 1 to bait. Still looking for information. Fur said he was going to be the medic. He's aggressive in doing so. Oh my goodness. Oh, I thought that would land.
Me too. Not going to happen though. Paz still fighting back here. Coldzera in a lot of trouble. Position compromised. Both not hitting shots. Space Soldiers now with the man advantage. It's a 4 versus 3. Fallen along on the A side, and that's where they're heading. 30 seconds remain. He knows he needs information here. Going to focus towards A main at the very start. Coldzera on the other side of the map. And he's going to be baited out here. If Engine can take him down, that could be the round. He's surely going to check this. Cold's absolutely done for. He's absolutely done for, but no! Somehow he hits the shot. He'll confirm that no one else is there. 10 seconds now, and Fallen catches them with their pants down. And that should be it. The bomb can be planted. But will it go down? Indeed it will. Calyx will get the plant in, and now they've got the man power against them.
Bomb plant is essential. I'll come back to that because Fallen is lighting us up. Takes down Paz. Calyx is stuck in behind rather, the quad position. Slight gap in the smoke. He's going to shuffle over. Good headshot on Stewie. Knows that Fallen still has the op out toward A main, and he's low on HP. That flash would leave him in the open, but the smoke still not going to give him vision. 31 now for Calyx as he gets tagged by Cold, and that will encourage as they go together. They want to swarm him. Spray! He might get it! Oh, what a turnaround from Calyx!
My God. It seemed like he was absolutely done for. Trapped in the corner. Nowhere to go, nowhere to hide. Low HP with the M4 there, but Fallen was low. He Molotovs the bomb, a missed shot comes in, and it all lines up for him. And that is the eco now for SK. They can still lose this game. Calyx plays that absolutely perfectly. It's chaotic, and it's the double orb setup that comes back to Horn. SK there. Somebody had a rifle surely available to them. Had to pick it up and has gunned him down. But as soon as he misses that first shot, that was it. And that's going to light the fire beneath their Space Soldiers right now. As you can see, SK with just pistols, no armor. Money is very low indeed.
Little tap on the arm from Major, the in-game leader. Thank you very much, Calyx, because this game is alive on that play. I was starting to talk about the bomb going down. It was going to be a reset. The extra $800 would have put them in a 4-spy range against map point, just a 4-spy. They've won one with that purchase in this half, but not ideal. Suddenly, they've got the advantage despite still being down 3 rounds. We could see this go all 30 or more. As Major gets out, Molotov, they'll check the bags. Set it to one and done position. It's a battle position. You've got to win the duel. You've got to get the trade, and Major makes sure that Fur cannot. Top of that, he'll swing toward the white box. Crowd just starting to get patriotic chant rather than a cheer this time. Tara's straightforward, finds Fallen. This round, I think, a foregone conclusion. They're playing it very slow and tactile. Cold is pushed up slightly toward B main. Decent pickup, straightforward, 14-12.
There it is. 5 players survive as Space Soldiers here. Calyx might have done enough to bring this map in their favor. You can see the crowd starting to look a little bit more dejected now as we call for a timeout. SK are going to buy this one. I've seen Fur's already purchased. The money's hovering around 4K per player, as you can see. Bolts of a little bit more. He could drop the orb. That means no armor for himself. What's the play here? They need one more round to guarantee overtime. That's going to be a huge release of pressure.
The way that they've been playing the CT side, I don't think it's worth it for him not to have armor. He's already bought it, so that's confirmed. He's been swinging behind forklift. He's been recovering and rotating. If he doesn't have armor, he can't support as aggressively, and it's almost like committing, I think, to the early round at that point with the AWP. So they want to play more tactically.
5 and 4s, 1 kits. They do have utility, but it's not ideal. coldzera just a smoke. Stewie, same story. There's 1 incendiary available for bolts, even purchasing the decoys now just to have a bit more to work with. There's Paz, great game for him so far, 21-21 against a team like SK. The way they're playing in the first half, there's still great stats. And Space Soldiers, they have a firm advantage around number 27. We are going to go the full distance here, I would say. As Calix, he'll be on the AWP now. Remember, no real main or path for Space Soldiers. Whoever's feeling it, whoever thinks they can get it done is boosted up. Terrorists being very tentative now. Don't want to give too much up. They've displayed a mixture of fast-paced strategy, slow defaults, great executions, forced by victories, and a 1 versus 3 godlike clutch from Calix.
Massive.
Will that be enough?
Saw Fallen with a 1 versus 3 in the first half. We get one Calix. He's been the star, I think, really, for me. I know Zontara sits just ahead on 20 kills. Paz leads both on 21, but Calix has been so sharp. Paz has been great on entries as well. Starting to see some depth, to this Space Soldiers team. So A main, Zontares will start to work in that direction. Fur is, again, boosted up so he can hold it off a little more effectively. They want to make sure they control middle. If you're going to boost, I think a lot of teams get too complacent. They lose middle, they lose highway, the boost becomes redundant. Bolts and Fallen both going to play that position with Stewie inside of the vents. Paz is at the door, mind you.
They'd missed the smoke. Major, I could see he wasn't happy about it. 20 seconds remain, and Fur starts to gun them down from the boost. Only good for 1, though. This is still possible as Paz continues to find frags from the squeaky door, but they still need to plant here. If Bolts can deny that, that will be enough. He just needs to find 1 more kill here, and that's the round. That is it. No chance of a plant now. Calix, he will not be able to win this round. That is going to be 15 rounds on the board for SK, and you can see that sigh of relief come in. They're waiting for this moment. This is Space Soldiers' pick. Cash is their map, and it felt like the comeback was well and truly on. It still could be, but now it has to be in overtime.
So Calix gets money, but can't get an AWP. They go back to AKs, 15-12. Fallen has the op again.
Back on it, coldzera of the AK. I prefer that, to be honest. It was the double orb setup that let them down in that huge clutch, and Calix now aggressive again, but the nades raining in. Major takes the brunt of the damage there. That's courtesy of Bolts. They're trying to find the first pick. Bolts doesn't have to go down here. He's got backup from Fur, but he has got the AK, meaning he knows he can tap heads. He can go toe-to-toe with these players on the other side. Calix sneaks past him. This could be interesting now. Flashbangs coming through as Bolts tried to find the first pick, controls the spray, but it's only good for a trade.
And Fur wasn't good enough to, or I shouldn't say wasn't good enough. He certainly is. He wasn't ready enough.
Yes.
Wasn't in a good enough position, having just thrown the nade to swing back out and win that exchange, because it would have been an easy kill had he have had the gun at the ready. They'll give up middle. They're going to concede that. They're going to play 2-2, hold the sights at this point in time with a minute to play with. Paz again waiting at the door. Very standard for most terrorist teams. You want to at least be able to hear what's going on in A. See if you can get them in rotation, see if you can bleed out utility.
Well, here we go. Could be the last round here. They do have middle control. Space Soldiers hovering by the vents right now, and Major completely removes Fur from the situation. Fallen, being so deadly in this position, but can't hit that shot. That could be the end of him. Oh my God, the bomb goes down. Can he find anything more? It felt that shot was going to connect, but now they have time to recover. The bomb is down in main. If Fallen hits that shot, it's GG. But coldzera is still alive, and looks like the round will slip by them once again. It's Stewie left in the 1 versus 3 this time. He knows where the bomb is. His presence towards highway. He finds the first and stops the bomb going down.
Stewie holding off toward the truck. He's got to keep this in contention. 9 seconds, bomb gets planted. Doesn't have a kit picked up. Puts time into the matter. Puts money into the matter as well for SK, keep in mind. They'll go back to pistols. That means we go 15-13, maybe to the 30th round, and that might be the case, as Major knew exactly where he was when he fell off the E-box.
Two rounds.
Good news is, just before you go there,
Yeah.
overtime secured. As you said, takes the pressure off.
Absolutely. Overtime is secure and probably very likely at this point. You can see they've got nothing here. They'll get $1,900 the next round. That's like 4K per player. This looks like almost certainly it's going to go overtime. Space Soldiers do it courtesy of Majors. An opening pick towards Highway. It looked like they were out of it, but it did bring them back to the 4 versus 4. And then the A side collapsed again. It's the full eco. They're going to try and finish things off in round number 30. It still won't be ideal. There will be no kits. There will be little utility. They'll be on SMGs for masses, maybe 1 M4. A scout could come out as Dantares starts to show us what he's capable of. Only good for 1 frag, but damage inflicted. That's still going to be a very clinical procedure here for Space Soldiers. That frag should be guaranteed. Stewie, the last remaining, and indeed 30 rounds will be played here. As they all go down, I can confirm it's less than $4,000 per player. Really not ideal here. Overtime looking almost guaranteed at this point, unless someone goes absolutely wild here in the final round of cash. UMPs for masses. 2 M4s fallen. I would say he hasn't punched yet, but maybe he gets the scout here. Just when they need him. He can do unbelievable things with that particular weapon. No kits again, and this all stems from that force fire in the second round. They went down 5-0 before they posted around. This because they couldn't get that utility. They couldn't get those defuse kits. Couldn't get the orb in the first gun round. And now Fallen has called the timeout here just to work out what he's going to buy. Does he focus on the utility side of things? Does he go for something just like a pistol? As Cold Zera, we'll look at the frag charts while we're here. 21 for him, 16 deaths.
Everyone on both sides has been great.
Yeah, there's no one really dropping beneath the pace too much. On the other side, Calix at the very top. What a game he's had. 4 players for Space Soldiers at well in the 20s. Same story for SK. Engine at the bottom with 11 frags. His Bolt at the bottom for SK with 16. Stewie, 19. Hasn't kept up that phenomenal form we saw in the first few rounds of the T-Harp. He was looking like he's going to have one of his trademark 30 bombs coming in, but not to be the case. They need to find the first frag here. What's going to be as Stewie gets ready towards middle. Could get flashed in. Got 2 players by Squeaky Door here as well.
Yeah, there's no one to throw that flash towards Squeaky if they both wanted to go, however. So they're just waiting at that point. Do we go further? To delight or dismay of the Brazilian crowd. They get more Counter-Strike, more from SK, but doesn't guarantee them they get a first map. Remember, Space Soldiers are 2-0 in this tournament against SK as they beat them in the group stages on the opening day.
Oh!
Stewie, 2K!
Bomb down!
Bomb puts it down as well, and I think it stayed on top of the boost. No, it fell inside the middle. Even better for Stewie. Paz gets one back on Fur. He's got an AK, and he switched. Calix thinks he's still on the other side. He started off with 3 in the opening pistol. He's got 3 in round 30. He might be the only one that's not made in Brazil, but my God, the Brazilians will love him for this. Still, though, they've got only a 1-man advantage. Paz gets a second. Stewie again. He's going to go for a 4th. Does he get an ace? Does he hold it off? Paz has to try and pull back from Highway. 28 seconds. The first man he finds will be Stewie on 13. Fallen can play the bait. And Paz knows this will be a crossfire, knows where Stewie is. That gives Stewie's position up, but it buys time on the bomb. 6 more seconds that bomb is covered in flame. It's going to be a fight.
Oh!
It's going to be Fallen.
It looked like the round was over and overtime was guaranteed. But it's the North American boy wonder who stepped up in the pistol and got them going, found them those 11 rounds, who closes it out as well. He goes aggressive towards middle. It's a solo excursion, 4 frags pound. It looked like it might fall apart at the end, but Fallen picks up the pieces. Fantastic scenes there, and SK indeed steal away the Merc Bigger Space Soldiers, 16 of 14. If that's a sign of what's to come, Matthew, this is going to be an unbelievable series.
Unbelievable series indeed, and what a crowd. Thank you very much, Belo Horizonte. You've been amazing, so is SK. We're going to go to a break. There's still another map, maybe more, between SK and Space Soldiers. It's 1-0 for SK.